In this lecture, we are going to load JavaScript from the document. The snippets tool has been great, but it's not the proper solution for adding a script to the page. The HTML language has a tag dedicated to loading scripts. Let's give it a try. For the remainder of this section, we are going to be working in a code editor. I have my editor pointed to an empty directory. You should do the same. Your editor shouldn't be pointed to the current WordPress installation. Our changes shouldn't affect our main project. After you've got that sorted, let's create a file called index.html. An HTML file can be scaffolded by typing HTML:5. An option will appear to pre-fill the file with a basic HTML template. If we press enter, the template should get loaded into the file. Fantastic! Let's modify the title tag by setting it to the following: JS examples. Everything else is fine as is. Next, inside the body tags, add an h1 tag with dummy text. We're including this tag to verify the page's content. Let's begin loading a JavaScript file. First, we must create a JavaScript file. Inside our projects directory, create a new file called main.js. Let's log a message with the console.log function inside our new file. Next, head back to the document. Script files can be loaded by adding the script tag. Let's add it to the head section of the document. The script tag provides two options for writing JavaScript. Firstly, we can write JavaScript inside the tags. Alternatively, we can load an external JavaScript file. In most cases, you should separate your HTML and JavaScript code. It's the same reason developers prefer to write HTML and CSS in separate files. Using separate files keeps our code clean and manageable. On the script tag, add an attribute called source. The source attribute should be a path to a script file. Let's point to the main.js file. Next, let's view the file in the browser. Drag and drop the HTML file onto a blank tab. Inside the document, the h1 tag should appear on the page. To verify our script file was loaded, let's open the console panel in the developer tools. Great! Our script has been successfully loaded. This is indicated by the message. So far, so good, right? Not so fast. There's one problem with our script. This problem can cause further issues with our template. Script files should be loaded at the bottom of the document. In most cases, you should never load a script from the head section of the document. To understand why, let's try updating our script. Head back to the editor. Inside the script, we're going to replace the console.log function with the alert function. As we've learned, the alert function blocks additional actions in the browser. The page doesn't become functional until the alert box goes away. Let's see how this impacts our page. Refresh the document in the browser. The alert box appears on the page, which is great. Unfortunately, the rest of the document is missing. The heading from our file does not get rendered. This problem is caused by our script. If we close the alert box, the heading suddenly appears. Here's what's going on. Browsers will process HTML files from top to bottom. Line by line, it'll update the document with the information inside the HTML file. Eventually, it'll come across the script tag. Before it proceeds with subsequent lines, it'll load the script file. After the file has been loaded, the code inside the file will execute. At this point, the heading has not been processed. For this reason, the browser does not have the opportunity to load the heading on the page. It's too busy with our JavaScript file, which will block the document from performing additional actions. This can be a huge problem. What if we need to access an element from our script? it won't be available until the document has fully loaded. Getting around this problem is simple. We can move the script tag from the top of the document to the bottom of the document. Cut and paste the script tag before the closing body tag. Next, let's refresh the page. This time, the alert box appears, but so does the heading. Script files should always be the last files to be included in a document to reduce the headaches. There are a couple more things worth mentioning before moving on to the next lecture. Head back to the document. Inline JavaScript is supported. You may see this feature from time to time. For example, on the h1 tag, let's add an attribute called onClick. The attribute name should be in lowercase letters. This attribute will execute JavaScript code if the element is clicked on. The attribute's value must be valid JavaScript code. For this demonstration, let's write a console statement. Inside my console statement, I'm logging a message. However, what's more interesting are the quotes. I'm using single quotes. If I were to use double quotes, we would run into some problems. The attribute is already written with double quotes. Using double quotes in the log function will cause issues. As you can see, the document assumes the attribute begins and ends here. It does not recognize the latter portion of the script. For this reason, you should stick to single quotes when using inline JavaScript. I'm going to remove this attribute. It's rare to write inline JavaScript. It's the same reason as before. JavaScript code should be written in a separate file. Inline JavaScript can clutter our code. For the rest of this section, we're going to dedicate most of our time to writing JavaScript in a single file. Let's continue exploring additional features in the next lecture. I'll see you there.